worst thing ever. I don't know. I'm sort of having that right now. But anyways, hey Dagaditi. Let's look at our fear and greed index. Right now we are at a 16, so it is an increase compared to the past few days, which I remember it dropped all the way to 11 in one of our lives, or maybe I looked at it. But anyways, so 16, showing some strength. The last time we were here was all the way back in February of, well, oh god, 9 months ago. Oh, what the? I really want to sneeze. Just stopped halfway. Most annoying thing ever. Anyways, let's look at our English. Okay, let's look at our Bitcoin exchange liquidation map. So right now we've got more strength. More people are piling into longs. Right, current price is at 91324 according to CoinGlass. We'll check that with TradingView later. But you can see there's currently about 1.64 billion longs, 2.34 billion shorts, and again, big cluster in between. So let's look at the 7 day. Definitely showing more strength compared to um, sort of my updates to you guys over the past few days. We do have a big cluster around 89.5, 89.2. Possibly we push back down. Possibly we push back up. Let's look at the 30 day. Same thing. Slightly more longs, but not a lot of longs. Mostly shorts. And again, overall thesis is that we want to go up because that's where the liquidity is. And with um, major central banks like the Bank of Japan printing more money, with us being unsure what the U.S. Federal Reserve is going to do, but we know that they're going to pause quantitative tightening. We might see a little bit more downside, but I am following the liquidity. I'm following counter-cyclical capital buffer principles, and that tells us that you'd want to buy at this point in time. Right? Let's look at the RSI heat map. Of course, we have our Chart Prime Oscillator Pro Plus, which is more accurate, but it's always great to look at how the space is doing. So average RSI did go up to 43. I remember we were at week yesterday. We do have quite a lot of coins, and it's just updated. We do have quite a lot of coins falling way to oversold, although these coins don't really look that great. I mean, Jelly, crazy coin, but I'm kind of terrified of that coin, so I don't know if we're going to go for it. Oh, SER, I used to Unsonic. Okay, so SER, I used to trade, so I think we can look at that tonight or this morning, wherever you're from. BTC is in weak, so is Ondo, Pengu, AVAX, Link. Ethereum is showing some strength, as well as Fartcoin of all things. Tau is also showing some strength. So I guess we'll focus on Bitcoin, SER, maybe look at Ondo and Pengu and Link as well, and we'll also look at the current trades that I have open from my chat. Let's see who else is in the chat. Hey, thank you. Good evening. And I see Roofie Punch came back, so thanks for being here. Let's pull up a trading view. Right. Okay. So, let me fix this. Right, and let's go back down to 5 minutes and 1 hour, and I'm gonna delete this short that I did. So right now my charts are probably the messiest they've been in quite a while. Right, I thought this was like a bull flag on the 5 minutes, but it looks like it's sort of failing me right now, unless this is like a no, I think it's failing me. Right, it was projecting up, but then sort of failing at the moment, and ICP crossing 4.9. So I think with ICP doing this, I might get a break even on one of my trades. But we took profit at 6. I did not know that would be the final TP. No downside risk. And part of the discipline when it comes to trading, I feel, is not closing until it hits your stop loss. Basically, wherever your stop loss is, you have to be prepared to accept that unless you plan to DCA in. Right now, I don't plan to DCA into ICP because it's done this. It's basically a lower high, and so I don't think it's worth DCAing into. And I've already taken profits on ICP, so I'm good, and stop loss to break even. But anyways, back to Bitcoin. Um, Clearly this was a fail. I drew this. What was it? Like a couple, 40 minutes ago. But clearly it's sort of failed, and before then I did not know we would get a bearish divergence. So it sucks, but it is what it is. So let's remove those for now, right? Just so we have a somewhat clean chart. Now, with Bitcoin, what I've noticed is on sort of a medium time frame like the 1 hour, this technically counts as a double bottom right here. So this could be an area for support, but obviously if we have this little range right here, right, it's possible that we continue back down. But I am liking that we do have some level of support now. You've got one bottom and then another bottom, and there's surprisingly a higher bottom. So quite good, right? At least for those like me who have more of a bullish sentiment at present. And again, my analysis is based on banking, it's based on liquidity, and my TA, of course, sponsored by Chart Prime, but it's something that, you know, you have these two zones on the 1 hour, right? And I think it's also on the 4 hour, but essentially they're very imbalanced towards, they're very bullishly imbalanced. So that sort of tells you the idea that people were entering here, were entering here. This has become a pain zone. So a pain zone is basically a place where you were chopping, people were both shorting and longing, and it went one direction. So where's my rectangle? So this whole area right here, I would say, is a place where we want to look, right? The fact that we revisited the pain that was over here and we rejected, that tells me that eventually we'll want to revisit this again, right? This right here could also be considered a pain zone, but to the shorts, because you have a little bit of ranging, right? But it's a very minor pain zone. This one is sort of the big pain zone. And so I'd want to look at, if we do get here within the live, which today it's going to be 2 hours long, thank goodness. I've got some breathing room. Let's see if we get here tonight, right? Or this morning. And I see that Loctite has joined us. Thank you for dropping in, as well as 944. I appreciate the company. And if you guys have any questions or any coins you want me to look at, just let me know. I'm an open book, and I love interacting with you guys. So, Ethereum. Excuse me. All right, Ethereum, on the other hand, it showed us that it was a little stronger than Bitcoin on the RSI heat map, but, you know, I don't know if I can say that this is any stronger. I mean, technically it is, but yeah. You are oversold a ton on Ethereum, but you've got heavy money outflow on the 5 minutes. You did get an up reversal, but I think you continue down for Ethereum, right? Same thing here. So, technically speaking, on the 1 hour, excuse me, sort of the same low, kind of a higher low, but I'd say it's the same low. You got rejected, pushed, slightly higher low, but now you're curving back down. I'd wait for the 1 hour to retest, or go back down to the lower extremity, and for the MVP to retest the fluid zero line before I maybe take a long on Ethereum. Oh, and by the way, I do want to say, as a sort of macro thing, is that of course it's possible we continue headed down. Like, this could just be a relief bounce, right? Because if I invert, it is Control I, or no, Alt I, right? If I invert the charts, you can see that, technically speaking, right, Actually, no. Hold up. If you invert the charts, so again, this is what it looks like normally. This is what it looks like right now. If you invert the charts and you try to draw a channel right here, yeah, you kind of get the bottoms, no? Right? And technically this is an ascending channel, and you know, more often than not, these things break to the downside. But if they break to the downside when we're flipped and reversed, then you have a descending channel, which more often than not breaks to the top side. I'm learning. Well, I'm noticing things with you guys. So I don't know. I might be delusional, but this ascending channel on me played out on the 1 hour, and now it looks like we're in a descending channel on the 1 hour. So you tell me, maybe I can like fix it up just a little bit better, just so it's a little more accurate. Like that. Nope, nope, nope. This. I think that's the wicks. Yep. So more oftentimes than not, these things break to the top eventually, right? But if we keep getting rejected from this trend line, essentially we want to see a bounce from the median line, which is over here, and we are sort of getting that, right? This is a push to the upside, but if we continue down, we want to just go back up. That would give us a stronger signal, because if it breaks back down, then we can expect a little bit more downside. And our CPO plus, or our chart prime oscillator pro plus, is telling us that there can be a little bit more downside. So again, we're looking at possibilities while we're trading live, and as well as market analyzing, because that gives us a little bit of control at least. So I'm looking back into the live, and I see Desmond is over here. Welcome to the show. Wrecked and Healing is also here. I don't know if someone left, but thank you for dropping by, guys. And I hope you guys have a wonderful morning or evening, wherever you're at. Yeah. And if you have any questions or any coins you want me to look at, just let me know. So let's look at Solana. It's taken a massive dump. I don't know why my things are showing up like this. Right? So on Solana, you had a measured move projection back to 166. You were in a falling wedge, and you can see I charted this live back then. So this was an ascending channel on Solana. It hit my measured move right at 131. Right. Actually, no. I think this was a bear flag thing, right? I think I'm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I made this like a bear flag. Inverted. Yeah, just see. No. How did I draw this? That wasn't my measured move. So I think my measured move, I did it from here because that was sort of the low. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, let us go back. So you have a measured move projection for Solana back at 168, and what is that? And you can see that it is by the sell zone, by the premium zone, but I would wait. I want to see Solana go oversold first, and I want to see how the MVP ribbon reacts to the fluid zero line, and then we'll see if it's worth putting in a long for Solana. Yeah. Jay Brignac, I have a question about your MA chart. I watched your pin video, and what I type in like you did. Oh, so I think what's happening is I have the premium plan on TradingView. So the thing is, if I type in moving average ribbon, right? This is a TradingView indicator, but genuinely, I think any moving average created by other people should work just fine. Moving average, was it 5 MA? I think it's called 5 MA. But ideally, well, I personally use SMA, right? You can use any of these ones. Maybe this one with the simple, because I use simple moving average. But essentially, you only need one moving average for your fluid zero line. Oh, you do. Okay. I'm not sure then, cause yeah, it's right here for me. Um, I don't know, but any moving average indicator should just be fine. Hold on. I will grab some tissue. I'll blow my nose real quick. All right. So I'm not sure, but genuinely, any moving average indicator should work just fine. So I guess sort of as a test, we can just add indicator. 5 moving average. Da, 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 da. So I think this one should be fine. Not sure what's gonna happen though. So go to the settings. Oh, okay. Uh huh. So never mind. This is not the one we want to use. That was confusing. Moving average. Da, 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 da. Let me just maybe type 5. Uh, Maybe something like this could work. Oh, that. Ah, damn it! I placed it here. Hold on. Sorry, guys. This is. I do want to get to the bottom of this. Moving average. Where is it again? Da, da, da. All right. Let's go to settings. Okay, perfect. So, um, we can change SMA length, SMA1 length to 144, right? And we go to style. We just turn off everything except SMA1. And to help us see the difference, I'll have it in blue. And then we can have a line like this. Remove this. All right, I think this should work now. Show all. All right. So I think it should overlay unless it's being covered, right? So visual order, bring forward. Weird. Or would it have to be 144? Okay, I don't know what's happening, but I will figure it out. Okay, um, just stay tuned for that. So let's go back to chat. I see we've got Jatin here. Welcome to the show. Let's look at ICP because it's one of the trades I called. So we got the TP1 break even to SL. It looks like it's gonna die, and I'll have to announce that. Let's look at ADA. Let's go lower time frames. And actually, I wanted to try out a new strategy for scalping in this live. So I want to see if it's going to pan out the way I was testing it. So I'll stay tuned for that. But essentially, looking at a lot of the coins right now, I'm seeing that they did get a nice push to the upside, but they are being weak right now. I did say we could go lower, and based on the liquidity, as more people pile in to long, I think they want to induce max pain for all of us who want to go long. But yeah, all right. So sort of the strategy that I wanted to look at was this. So for context, this channel is by a subsidiary of Chart Prime, and I'm testing it right now. So I want to see if it will work for us when we scalp. And this oscillator right here is the Ichimoku oscillator by Chart Prime. So I'm sort of, because wait, without the CPO Plus, I was able to get these scalps essentially when they've fallen out of the channel. I just wait for it to sort of cross the line here and then enter at the candle, and I get like 1 to 2 ratios, right? So I kind of just want to see how we do. And I mean, this one sort of failed, right? Because yeah, that one failed. But essentially, that's sort of what I want to try out with you guys, and it's sort of a test to see how I. Is it really a test, or sort of my logic when testing out different indicators and whatnot? So, got a fresh chart here, and essentially what I would do with the Chart Prime Oscillator Pro Plus is essentially just wait for a signal after it prints an oversold or overbought. So when it falls out the channel, that essentially means it's oversold, and when it pushes above the channel, that means it's overbought. And if I go here, you can see that when we got the overbought signal, right, it was a great place to take a short, and sort of adjacent to it, there was a downward reversal. So it's not after, it's if it's within one candle close, right, or within 2 candle closes. If there's a signal within 2 candle closes, then I will scalp it like that. So we're gonna go through this together, and technically, based on this, I would have taken a long, but this was 2 p.m. Yeah, 2 p.m. today, so that was 8 hours ago. But if I placed it here, right, it's a 1-to-1. 1-to-1. So if we wanted a 1-to-2, well, that would put us at 93k. But it looks like that's not going to happen. But yeah. Alright, let's see what's in the chat. Okay. But yeah, are there any coins you guys want me to look at by any chance? I know we were looking at WLD yesterday, and I think it had a push. Let me check. What did WLD do from yesterday? Oh, Solana? Okay, let's check Solana. It's just Mexi. Yeah, it had a push from here, but now it's back down. Rough. So let's look at Solana. So with Solana, right, your 1 hour is still on its way down. Your MVP ribbon is still on its way down. There are bottoming bars forming on the 1 hour, but generally it's still on the way down. Here on your 5 minutes, you're also, well, you were oversold for the past 5 candles, and you did get an upwards reversal, but I see it more as relief, because you've got bearish volume, money outflow. What's the bottom indicator that you have? The name. So this bottom indicator is the MVP ribbon. So when you go to your Chart Prime Oscillator Pro Plus or the regular one, you can just select the MVP oscillator. So without the oscillator, this would just be your regular prime oscillator, right? Let's let it load. So this is just a regular prime one, and then you change it back to your MVP and you get that. So essentially what the MVP ribbon does, it's basically MACD, right? Your moving average convergence divergence. But what's great about it is because it's in sort of a ribbon format, you can see whether or not it's overextended or to either side. Whereas with MACD, right, you kind of just wait for it to slowly top off and then fall. At least here you can basically see if you've still got room to push the upside, as well as whether or not it thinks you're sort of bottoming out or the strength of the move is dying. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's look at sort of the higher time frames right now because like I said yesterday, right, when we're in these positions, it's difficult for me to scalp in the sense that the risk to reward as well as the effort, it's a little bit difficult. Uh, and so higher time frames is sort of where I look at during these periods of massive moves. So obviously we are in a downtrend. That's 100% true, right? Your quantum reactor, your dynamic reactor, they all tell you you're bearish. And on the 4 hour for Solana, right, we are in a falling wedge. And truth be told, we filled the entire wick from the October 10 dump, which is, I don't know if I should be impressed or a little scared, but it is something. We filled that entire wick. Now, here on the 4 hour, we're pointed down. We've got heavy money outflow. We're sort of breaking above the MVP ribbon. So, what I need to see right now is whether or not Solana can essentially bounce off its previous week low at 134. Will this support hold, or will it go to the FVG, wick above it, or will it break through? And for me, right, based solely on the 4 hour, I'd say we break through the previous week low. Let's look at the 1 week together. So, very similar to Bitcoin in the sense that you're nearing oversold. What I'm sort of worried about with Solana, and it's not worried in the sense that if it dumps, it's terrible. I mean, rip spot bags, but obviously if we can buy over here, that would be great. But what I'm seeing is the fact that we are at the money flow POC, we do have more trading volume. The most traded price is around 130, but with this push to the downside, it's possible we close or we touch anywhere from 125. And if we are in this parallel channel as depicted by market dynamics, we could go as low as maybe 85 on Solana, which is something we have to be prepared about. Obviously, the bias or the long-term bias is long for me because of the whole my whole thesis on liquidity, where if people think there's a bear market, then institutions will have, or there's more incentive for institutions to step in because they act counter-cyclical to what retail does in order to sort of regulate the market in classical theory, right? And the fact that there hasn't been a major global liquidity injection, that just also adds to my overall thesis. But I'm not saying that there's not going to be downside. Absolutely, there can be more downside from here. So 1 week says we could probably go even lower, right? If we hold and we stay here in the POC around, let's see here, if we can hold this area, hunker down from 139 to 130, and we just range here, then it's possible you get a recovery, right? Because if you range here and you recover, then you recover. But based on the candle structure as well as sort of the strength of these candles, it's very difficult to see Solana just chilling here in the POC. I mean, it can. Anything is possible, but I would be prepared for more downside with Solana. All right, I see that Ashen Bjorn has joined the show as well as JD. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. If you have any questions or coins you want me to look at, just let me know. Be very, very interested to go see, to check them out. So now that we've sort of got some of our bases checked, I'm going to look for possible scalps. Sweet. Okay. Actually, with Sui, I do have an entry at 1.5, and I'm thinking that it's more likely to get hit now because of the fact that we sort of got this FVG. We're in this bearish order block with a heavy bearish imbalance. But truth be told, right? I mean, who was buying Sui at 0.576? Who even had orders there? Like, genuinely, we have to ask ourselves when thinking about sort of this market right now. October 10, so many of the strong altcoins from last year, literally just 1 year ago, Sui, Ondo, these guys got wick crazy. Um, Hold on. Let me just look at Ondo real quick, or just show you what Ondo looks like right now so you get sort of a sense of what's happening. So Ondo, let's pull out the 4 hour. I'd say 4 hours for on. Like, who had orders for Ondo at 0.2? Genuinely, who had orders for Ondo at 0.2? Who had orders for Sui at 0.59? So these coins for me are very interesting because BTC, Ethereum, Solana, of course these guys dumped, right? BTC was sort of the least affected, but everything else, alts, I mean, of course, their smaller caps are gonna dump. But then weaker coins that weaker coins than like Sui and Ondo didn't dump as hard. So why specifically these coins, and why did they dump close to 75%? And it just left a massive wick to the top, right? 0.001 buy. Exactly. So when we look at are these coins where they have good fundamentals in the sense that their narrative is good, the ecosystem is good, um, we have to ask why these coins dumped even harder than everything else. And for me, that's just sort of a sign that we probably want to look at these coins for what's coming up next. Now, when I posted my 1.5 long on Sui, uh, actually, I believe technically because it's the Japanese pronunciation, it's supposed to be like Sui, because it's like shui as in water in Chinese. But anyways, everyone just says Sui. I was basing it off sort of a remnant FVG, right? So if I pull up the 1 week here on Sui, and right, there's sort of this remnant FVG that technically should have been filled by the wick, but it's sort of just chilling here. I don't know how this happened, why TradingView's counting it as an FVG still when it clearly broken through, but somehow it's counting it as an FVG. So I put my entry there with my stop loss all the way below the POC on the 1 week. So as Sui approaches oversold on the 1 week, I fully expect a bounce to happen at this point in time. So my thesis on Sui, I'd enter 1.5, stop loss here, very low leverage in terms of like my strategy, because I think my strategy, the leverage is usually anywhere from like for Bitcoin, it's anywhere from like 50 to 100. So yeah. I see Van has entered the show. Thanks for dropping by. And yeah, same thing with Ondo. My entry for Ondo is way lower, but at this point I don't know if it's even gonna reach it. It's like 0.37. It's farther away than Sui for sure. But yeah. Let's look at this. Oh, it's market open. Okay. Let's see if anything sort of happened. Yeah. That's why there are these weird remnant FVGs that I have entries near, because I feel as though that could be something worth looking at. Now it could be just a glitch on TradingView on my indicators. I don't know if it's appearing for you guys, but I will roll with it. So 5 minute, oh no. So market open is showing some very fun signs. We're getting pushes to the upside. Um, yeah, so I'm back on essentially break even on my Bitcoin long. Let's look at ICP. Oh, it's dead. No, it's not dead. It's showing some strength again. So what I'm waiting on right now is essentially maybe to short whatever pump we get. Just like a very quick scalp short on whatever pump we get. So question is, which coin do we do it on? All right, let me remove this. But actually, interesting. So this was yesterday. Yesterday 3 p.m. Going into 6, we got above. Right? Got below, we got our cross, take a short. If we can get above the quantum reactor and then get a cross between them, I think that could be like a very quick scalp long. But if we just do this and continue to reject, that could be a quick scalp short. So let's look at the 1 hour more closely. My greatest fear right now in sort of trading Bitcoin is if it does this. If it keeps us in a range and we're range bound, that would be very annoying because any positions you make could easily get killed. And based on the 1 day, with liquidity almost being equal on both sides, it's definitely possible. Right. All right. Hey, Ado, welcome to the show. Nice of you to drop by. So, right now, I need clarity from either Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Solana. Right? If it's just gonna chop like this, then it'd be very difficult to basically scalp it. And we've had success in the past, right? But right now, I'm not confident in sort of scalping it until I get a bigger or a clearer move, because this is basically an indecision candle. Long wick to the top side, long wick to the bottom side. Even if it's technically bullish because it closed green, it's indecision, and you don't like that because it can easily just go the other way. Okay. Although, oh, boop boop. Yeah. Rough. Probably the clearest picture we have right now is probably Ethereum. It's sort of telling you to short it based on the CPO plus. We got rejected here. We did get a ride here, but if we push down like this on the MVP ribbon, I probably short it at the most traded price on candle close, all the way back down to maybe the discount, right? Because we are in a descending channel here on Ethereum. And if we close right on the median line, so at 3027, if we close here for the hour, I'd probably short Ethereum back down to the discount. Excuse me. Let me just turn this on. Alright. This is new. Bearish imbalance here on ICP. Let's pull back to the 5 minutes here on SPY. Interesting. There was a measured move to 1.55. Okay. But yeah, genuinely, I think they're really keeping prices range bound for us. I mean, this was the 1 hour, right? And this was yesterday. We got a pump to the upside, we got rejected, and now we're literally back to where we were just yesterday. Like right here. We're literally back to where we started. Oh, that's fun. But okay, if Bitcoin can close strong, here on the 5 minutes, maybe we can take a long. Right? But if we reject off the quantum reactor, I don't think we should long that. If we can get to above it and we see that the dynamic reactor gets even closer and they're able to sort of cross above each other, then we can probably take a stop long on Bitcoin. Right. Let's look at Ethereum. Yeah, I don't really trust this right now, so I'd rather look at Bitcoin. Let's look at Solana. Solana's also the same, unless of course this goes down here or it flips into or it twists, and maybe you can take a long on Solana. But so far, based on what I'm seeing, Bitcoin might be the more reliable one of the big three. Ano's doing some moves. Swee's doing some moves. We are getting a push to the upside, which is, I mean, it's nice for sure. I do have like a couple long positions, right? Yeah. Okay. So we did close above the quantum reactor, right? But where's the most traded price here? Because, okay, typically when our most traded price is indicated by this white line, and you don't see that on this candle, so that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's something worth noting. Okay, so push. We rejected off the 618 here on Bitcoin 1 hour, but we sort of don't want to be stuck in this range, right? Because actually, something I want to sort of tell you guys about is I learned something from a Wall Street trader, and what he essentially says is this is what he calls a coffin. So essentially, it's when you have a big move, whether it's down or to the top side. So this one, big move to the top side, and then you see how the bodies of the candle sort of close around the same point. So until you get a decisive move to the top side, it's best not to trade anywhere in that, because you will get killed while in this coffin. So again, how you spot it is if you get a big move to the top, to any side, whether it's to the top or to the downside, and then your candle closes, right, are essentially within a certain range. So you can see this closed here, it closed here. This also the body technically started here, and then you can see how these wicks, even though they're not the body closed, they're the most traded price. So again, this is how you can see that the market's essentially fucking with us, because it's really just killing everyone. And if you ape into a long or short or scalp right now, it's basically not the time. This is against you. So, what's another example of maybe a coffin? Like here, this right here is a coffin, right? Right. That's a coffin right there. I mean, cut, cut, cut. And then finally, it made a decisive move. It broke outside of it, retested, and then you can see how, again, they're just fucking with you at this point because theoretically, or how you would validate which direction the coffin is ending at is you would wait for it to close outside, fully outside, wait for a retest and close, and then you would short. But obviously, your CPO plus probably said. But then again, all right, if you took a short here, right, if you took a short here on the most traded price, and then you place your stop loss above the highest candle or a level of resistance that you're happy with, and you go for a 1 to 2, I mean, eventually you would have won through the coffin scenario, right? Eventually. I mean, you have a drawdown, but eventually you would have won. So right now, as we're sort of chopping in this coffin, I kind of wait. Just wait and see. If we get a close above, and then we get a retest, that's when we'll probably take a long. And then if we get a close below, get a retest, that's when we'll take a short. But based on your CPO plus, it does tell me that the bias is to the upside. Yeah, and notice you don't get these chops on the 1 hour for any of the other coins, right? But it's specifically just here on Bitcoin. Maybe you guys can spot other coins that have chops like this on the 1 hour, but yeah, this is not it. You don't want to trade this. You want confirmation. Yeah. Oh, I see Van, I see Philip. Welcome to the show. I'm Langestrom, and if you have any questions or coins you want me to look at, just let me know. We'll be here for another 1 hour and 10 minutes, so genuinely, this is the best time to ask me any questions you guys might have, and maybe I'll have an answer, or maybe someone else might have an answer, and we can just build our knowledge together. So, yeah, look at that. Just outright fucking with you. Link and Uni. All right, let's check out Link. All right, so Link. All right, Chainlink, what, the biggest real-world asset coin? At least I think it is. There was a time where I just traded specifically Link because for some reason it was really easy to trade. Right now on the 5 minutes, 1 hour, there's too much noise, so I will go up a couple time frames. All right, X and O and Flock. Okay, let's check that after Uni and Link as well. So at least here, right, your 4 hour does say that you can go down even more. And the fact that you just have a bearish order block right above you with a heavy imbalance to the bears, it's rough. You do have macro support here at 13, so it is worth maybe looking at or setting an alert here because that's not what I wanted to do. Because, well, with Link pushing down this low and being below your fluid zero line, it says that we're getting more downside. Although, is that no, probably not. Let's see if it works out again. No, it's not a great fit. Yeah, it's not a great fit. One of the best structures that I like to trade are channels, right? And yeah, I mean, you could say this is a channel, right? But I don't think it's a great fit because you want it to touch the the bottom the bottom trend line as much as possible. You could say it's a descending channel, and descending channels are generally bullish. So let's invert this actually. So to invert, if you're on Windows, it's just Alt I, and then on Mac, I believe it's Control I, right? So when we invert this, it's possible that we could probably do something like this, right? And then, oh wait, no, yeah. Oh wait, no, this is an ascending channel now. That's not what I meant. So if it's an ascending channel, right, then it's more likely to break to the downside, and so let's do this, right? I mean, you could easily get a push to the dynamic reactor, right? But again, I do think Link is a little bit weak for what it is right now. I still see a little bit more downside on Link. So let's also look at Uni. With Uni, again, 4 hour also showing a lot more downside. You do have an FVG, right? And you are technically bullish, right? You're above the dynamic and quantum reactor. So I'd wait to see how it reacts with these. And then if it breaks past these, set an alert for 6.78, then an alert for 6.5, then an alert for 6.3, because eventually it should bounce, because you are starting to get sort of exhausted here on the lower time frames. And if your 4 hour goes oversold, you're losing your bearish trend strength. It should bounce soon. All right. Let me check again what we have here. XNO and Flock. Hey, Stock Scalping Samurai, it's been a while. You didn't like trading Tesla, but I don't remember why. It looks like your Trump trades have been going well. Yeah, oh, I didn't say I didn't like trading Tesla. I just said that Tesla's a very volatile stock, so it kind of... Oh no, okay, no, I remember why I said I didn't like trading Tesla. It's because it's heavily based on Elon Musk. And right now, with how Tesla is, sort of narrative wise, right? You have a lot of different EV companies already sort of overtaking Tesla in their competitive advantage. So a bit more business economics thing on Tesla. You have Chinese EVs doing better in terms of accomplishments than Tesla. You have even a Vietnamese EV company beating Tesla in terms of value for money, and Tesla in itself. I don't know if any of you guys have Teslas. If you do, I think they're actually aesthetically pleasing cars, right? Personally, I don't have an EV because there's not a lot of chargers here in the Philippines. So yeah, but Tesla is growing traction here, but I just don't like some of the quality bits on Tesla, and the fact that the way you switch gears, or yeah, gears essentially, it's weird. It's weird. I don't like doing it on a screen, right? Imagine pushing up to go park. Like, what? Okay, but yeah, that's sort of why I don't like trading Tesla. It's heavily based on what Elon does, and the guy can say whatever he wants, and he's probably not gonna feel anything, right? Yeah. Anyways, XNO. Let's look at XNO. I don't know much about XNO, truth be told, but you did sort of bounce off your zero line, which is interesting, and but you didn't break through your fluid zero line here in the 4 hour. So it was a nice push, right? From here, and look at the accuracy. We got a bearish div. Let's say you entered, right? Or you entered somewhere here on this candle, right? You got to push up, push down. So it's possible that this can go back right up, and that would influence price action to push back to previous day high. But because of your MVP ribbon failing to break past this, I would be prepared for the idea that we dump back to the support line right here. Now, that sort of thesis is being supported by the fact that it was in an ascending wedge here on the 30 minutes. And we do have smart targets placing us here, measured move all the way down to the quantum reactor, which is interesting. Right now, this is sort of a retest of this break, so I would wait and see. But it does look like we could see a little bit more downside just because of how these candles are sort of forming, right? This looks like a little dead cat bounce and then boop, just break back down to the downside. I will say though, our smart target places us right on the FVG and quantum reactor. So it's possible that we get a bounce if we drop. Now, your 30 minutes did get above the MVP ribbon. Your CPO plus ribbon is also sort of trying to point up, but based on candle structure, right? You've got a long wick to the downside. You've rejected off equilibrium. It wouldn't surprise me if we at least get to our smart target or FVG. So I would set an alert at 0.989, see if we can bounce off it, maybe take a long or short from there. Right. I've traded Tesla over 3, and overall I agree with you. Thanks for your answer. Of course, anytime. Alright, let's look at Flock as well. Oh, yeah, so Sugar Daddy, it's a fluid zero line. It's essentially what it's what shoot. It's what Jay Brignac asked earlier, which was how do you add it? So I added an SMA. Thank you, Dagatiti. So I added an SMA indicator. For mine, it's MA ribbon. I'm not sure why it's not appearing for some, because I did also get that question. I think TechWatch, was it TechWatch or DB Cooper who asked whether why they couldn't see MA ribbon as an option. I'm not sure, but yeah, any indicator that lets you change the length of your simple moving average would be easy to do. So essentially, let me delete this, just a quick showcase of how to add it. So you get your thing, 3 dots, add indicator / strategy. You pick your MA indicator. For me, it's moving average ribbon. You might not have this, but don't fret. You can use anything that lets you edit your length, right? So I turn mine white because I like it to be more visible. I use simple moving average. I prefer it over your EMA. And then you'd want to scroll down all the way to essentially where it just says plot. Now you pick the second to the last. You change this to 144. You can also go to your style and change the thickness, right? Do I do second line? I think I do second line. Yeah, I do second line. Click OK, and there you go. You have it. So this basically asks as dynamic support and resistance for your MVP ribbon, or your momentum in this case. So yeah, let's go back to BTC because I want to see what it's doing. So we did close pretty strong, right? Technically not above the coffin, but we did close strong. I like this wick from the downside going up. So right now, what I'd want to see on the 5 minutes is a clean break above. A clean, maybe 3 candle breaks or a very strong candle break, then a retest of the top of the coffin, and then a rejection, and then we can probably take a scalp long for it. Because if we're just going to play around this coffin, then it's not worth it. So Ethereum is getting that push, but excuse me. I keep eating watermelons. I keep saying I'm not going to eat watermelons before the live, and here I am eating watermelons. Alright, show chat. Can't see the thing, won't refresh. The SMA. But yeah, of course. Which chart? Oh, as in on Discord. Yeah. You might have to like leave for a quick second and come back. But yeah. Anyways, let me go back and see if I missed anything. Oh yeah, flock. We were supposed to look at flock. My bad. My bad. Yeah. Let me go look at flock. Okay, let's look at flock. So, also not familiar with this coin personally, so not sure about the narratives, but heavy money outflow on the 4 hour. That is terrifying, right? I mean, you can see sort of the difference from here, right, all the way here. It's just larger. I mean, you can just draw a line and you can see the difference, and at least from here, right, from this point right here, you can sort of see the money inflow is much larger, and then you got this push to the upside. So right now, what I'd be waiting for is for money flow to decrease. Even if your CPO plus is pointed upwards, it can literally just bounce off your money outflow. This essentially can deny any push to the upside. Your volume is transitioning, but it could fail. So what I would do, because there doesn't seem to be much, I would probably go zoom out a little bit. Let's go to the 12 hour just to see if we have a little bit more information to work with. So, well, that's not a lot of information. It's just the crash of October 10, right? So not a lot of information to work with here. Maybe one day could give us something. We want some sort of idea of where this could sort of bottom out, right? It's rough. So right now, I probably would say don't trade flock at the moment. I don't recommend I don't recommend trading flock at the moment. I'd say stay away from it because there's not enough information to go off of. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, theoretically, right? You could. You, its measured moves place you below your wick from October 10. So, I mean, theoretically, you could long here, right? Could it get to the measured move? I think it could. Possibly. So, yeah. All right. Let's go back to Bitcoin, see what it's doing. So, again, look at this. It's just fucking with us, right? Any scalp you would have taken here, I don't think it would have even been a 1 to 2 unless you had a very, very tight stop. But even then, whether you chose to do it here or here or here, it might not have been worth it. Of course, thank you for tuning in, and we'll have this again next week. And oh, speaking of which, so I've been recording every sort of live session since like 2 weeks ago, or every live session that I've had. And sort of how it works is I send it over to OC so that he can post it, and everything's sort of consolidated. Now, OC is a very busy guy, and it's not his fault, right? But there are backlogs, so the live recordings don't get sent to you guys. So what we're doing now is I'm going to post a Google Drive in my channels. In my channel, I'm gonna pin that, and from there you'll be able to see all the lives. So of course I'll still send them to OC so he can post it into class recordings. It's all consolidated, but for you guys to be able to see it as soon as I basically get to process it and lower the file size, it'll be there in my channel by tonight. And I'll also be posting AI summaries of the lives, as well as possibly any guides that I might be doing, as well as translating it into a couple different languages, because I realize that some of you guys aren't really fluent in English. So of course if you're using Google Translate or DeepL, like what I'll be doing, some of the grammar might be wrong, but at the very least, most of it should still be able to sort of carry through when I make those summaries. So yeah, do tell me what languages you'd like me to translate it to, because I mean uh, I'm thinking German, Chinese, Korean, and Japanese so far. But if you guys have any languages you want me to translate the summaries of those guides or lives, then do let me know. Yeah. But okay, so we are getting more strength now, right? We are going for this FVG. Oh, part of me kind of wants to short ICP, which is funny because I'm longing. I'm still in my ICP long, but part of me wants to short this 5 minute overbought because, I mean, look at that. Technically, this is a what is this? This is a oh no, wait a minute. Oh no, this is a higher. It probably doesn't translate to that. No, a hidden bearish. No, it probably doesn't translate to that. It's probably too far out. But yeah, actually, I do think ICP could push further based on the 1 hour, right? Hidden bullish, bullish, push up, could pop, and your money outflows decreasing, your bullish volume is increasing. It could push back up, I think. So, okay, let's wait for candle close on Bitcoin. Let's wait for the retest back to the pain zone, or the coffin rather, and we can probably take a scalp long. So I'm gonna prepare a tool already. I'm going to lower my AC because it is too cold. Okay. All right. 27 seconds. Wait for a retest of this because this is convincing. Right, if we can get a close above it, that would be great. But obviously, if it's a weak close, then that would suck. I mean, it's not a bad close, but it's not a stellar close either. So I'd wait for the retest. Right. Let's wait for the retest. If we fall back in, then it doesn't count. So we want it to come back to the coffin and then see what it does. Come on. How much leverage are you going to use? Because of my Bitcoin long, I'm locked to 50x. Yeah, I'm locked to 50x lev, so I'm gonna use 50. Okay. Any traditional conservative trader? Well, to be fair, I go over. I sort of explain my strategy. Essentially, I'm only using 1% of my entire trading portfolio. So if you look, my liquidation price for Bitcoin is like $20,000. So Bitcoin would have to drop 80% for me to be liquidated. Yeah. So because of that, it is somewhat. It's actually somewhat. Um, the my risk management, I would argue, is one of the better ones out there. And for a lot of my trades, my liquidation price is liquidation unlikely. It doesn't even tell me my liquidation price, which is funny because I think that means my liquidation would be negative. So a coin would have to be zero for me to essentially lose my money. Yeah. Um, and yeah, I do it because psychologically we're more inclined to close a trade that's 1,000% up than we are to close a trade that's 70% up. It's just psychological. Uh, which is why even if my let's go back to Trump actually. So uh right, my Trump trade, I said that the final TP is over here at 6.69. Um, but I saw that we were pushing upwards and we fell back in. I saw push upwards, just for me to lock in everything because I had already moved my stop loss multiple times. I think my last stop loss place was like 7.5, just to sort of just lock in everything because I was already up 75%. I just closed it and I was happy. So it's sort of psychological. Obviously, if you have the mental discipline to close even at say 70%, then and you're using like maybe 5% of your portfolio as your margin, then of course by all means, right? But for me, this is what I prefer because I like those higher ROI numbers. It's sort of, I don't know. It's psychological. It's all psychological. Yeah. But let's look at BTC again. So I want a nice return back to the coffin, and I want to see if we get like a wick off the coffin. But if we go back in, like if we go here, then we fall back in, then it's not worth it. Although you do see that we're getting a cross, like a bullish cross, between the dynamic and quantum reactor. And while it's not 100% guaranteed, you can see that here on the 5 minutes when we got that cross, eventually, right? We retested it a couple times, and if you place your stop loss below the reactor at this point, you would be up. So let's see how it is. Okay. So, again, part of scalping is a lot of the waiting. I mean, I guess in trading, a lot of it is the waiting, right? And the waiting gives you anxiety, it makes you emotional. But at times like these, it's very important to just chill, I'd say. Just you're in control of the margin you use, of the leverage you use, of your risk management. You're in control of what trades you enter. So enter trades logically, enter trades with a system. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine, right? I'm a huge advocate for developing your own strategy, interpreting things in a different way. And if we have sort of the same conclusion, that's cool, right? And if our trading style are similar, that's also cool, right? But focus on what you're comfortable with, what you feel works for you after experimenting. Yeah. Hey, little fish. Welcome. Yeah. You're like 15 minutes early compared to yesterday. Oh no, but that's high up on a rock. Never mind. My bad. My bad. Sorry. Can't forget like so some guy just entered yesterday's live, and then as soon as he's like, "Good morning, everyone," the live's ended. It's like ending. Just terrible. In my Market Oracle Pro, I have Dynamic Reactor. Do you have the Pro Plus? So you need Market Oracle. Yeah. So you want Market Oracle Plus. So when you load it in, oh shoot, I didn't mean that. You get your dynamic and quantum reactors. Yeah. So put the plus version in. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, not great. That wasn't the retest that I was expect or I wanted, and it's possible that this just dies back down. Oh, was that posted just now? Nice. Oh, it's great. That's great. Yeah. I think the indicator name is Market Oracle Plus, and then the when it loads into your chart, it will be called Market Oracle Pro Plus. Yeah. Yeah. Add plus. Plus is the stronger one. Yeah. So yeah, look at that. Told you guys. I thought it was just gonna fall. Right. But if it's a wick like this with a huge wick to the top side, I don't think your coffin's gonna hold. I think this fakes us out back into the coffin. But if we go back in, we bounce off this, then we can consider taking a long. Yeah. But yeah, don't like this. Your most traded price is up here, right? So that means people are shorting or actively shorting right now. Whereas something like this, right? Even if it was a red candle, people are actively putting in buy orders, right? Same here. Same here. Sell orders, buy orders, buy orders, buy orders, sell orders. So this looks like, well, more people are putting in sell orders. Yeah, lots of waiting for us, unfortunately. Do I think ICP's heading lower? Right now, yeah. Earlier, I was like, if we were here, I'd be like, no, it's heading higher. I mean, I did say to everyone when we started, I thought ICP was going back to break even, to my break even, and part of my trading discipline is if I've put my stop loss to break even, I'm not adjusting it because part of having a stop loss is accepting that that's what you're willing to lose. Of course, when you DCA, the conditions there is that everything is saying it's gonna go up, right? So you remove it strategically, but when you've already set, when for at least for me, when you've already set your SL to BE, don't worry about the trade. At least that's how I treat it. And I already took profits here at 6.13, but this is supposed to be 6, right? It touched 6, just barely touched 6. So I took about 15% or 20% of the profits. So I'm in profits, zero risk trade. I think it could go down more. Granted, your hopium copium is that your 1 hour multiple hidden bullish divs, multiple bullish divs. It's all just bullish div from here, right? Just all bullish div. And if you can sort of survive the drop here and push back up, then you could get more upside. But if it falls here, then I'd have to announce that it hit our stop loss. It hit our break even, and yeah. ICP was $600 last cycle. Yeah, I heard. Well, actually, I didn't. I didn't hear. I saw. Oh, that's funny. I think as a narrative, ICP is pretty cool, right? It's sort of putting the internet on the blockchain and uh, using internet applications on the blockchain, so you wouldn't need uh, wireless fidelity. I think that's cool, right? But it is a very difficult task to do. So yeah, look at that. I told you guys. It was just fucking with us. Absolute fuckery right there. Yeah, so sugar daddy, yeah, can I call you SD? It is very funny to say your name or your username in that way. Yeah. But yeah, whenever you see plus for the indicators you get, that's the more advanced version or the stronger version. So yeah, look at that. Told you guys, just fucking with us. Yep, look at that. Complete fuckery. Imagine if it closes like right here, back down, or if it goes for the FVG, then a wicks. It wouldn't surprise me. Just complete fuckery. And I sincerely hope that there are no 12-year-olds. I'm sure we're all adults here, right? I'm sure we're all adults. But yeah. Let's get ICP. Bounce off the 618. Solana. Going over here. Ethereum. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Even a hidden bearish div. Really not giving you any confidence. I'd set an alert for Ethereum at 2980. Because initially I know that my Ethereum call was around this area. Like I think it was 2920. And then I brought it, oh no, yeah, no. Brought it down $50, so it's 2870. Yeah, 2920. So it actually would, I don't think it would have even been filled, right? Because it's 2940, but now I put it at 2870, so it's like way lower. Yeah, and then stop loss is like 24 something, from what I recall. But yeah, again, we're really not getting any clear direction as to what we want. I'm still up on my longs, which is something. Kind of sad though, because I was up, or we were, all of us, we were up like 280% on ICP if you took the ICP long signal that I posted. That sucks. That was like another $2,800. I asked how you read and use the quantum reactor. Oh no, don't worry. You don't have to apologize. Genuinely, no need to apologize. So essentially, the quantum reactor, I have mine set to slow, and the reason I have it set to slow is because I treat it like a short or a long moving average, so something like your 200 moving average. Now, of course, it's not, the calculation is different, but essentially the documentation of Chart Prime, or how they've designed the quantum reactor, is to essentially test or tell you whether or not the trend has actually changed or if it's like a fake out. So we can see here on ICP, and let me turn off the dynamic reactor so that it's clearer. Right? Let me turn it off. Come on, work your magic. Come on, TradingView. Come on, remove it. But essentially, you can see here on the quantum reactor, right? There are many points in which we basically break above or close on that line. So a good example is this. So we were in sort of this bearish trend, right? We broke to the downside, and suddenly we get a break to the top side right here. So the quantum reactor turned gray. But until it turns green, then we know that it thinks that the trend hasn't changed and this is just a fake out. So you can see, boom, we go back down. Now here, we get above it, we test, we get above it, and it takes a while before it says, okay, you're bullish. So we get above it, and now we do the same thing. We wait, confirm, and then we break above it, it's green again, and now we've got a very big move to the upside here. Now we break below it again, and it's taking a while before it confirms, but now it says you're bearish. And now that we're here, it still says we're bearish, right? On the 1 hour. But you can see here on the 5 minutes, it doesn't think that. Or at least at some point, it was bullish, like right here. So again, I essentially just treat it as my my long moving average, and then the dynamic reactor as my short moving average. Because I prefer, or at least I like the value of a moving average basically confirming an overall trend for me. Like, yes, you could say, oh, it's above the 200, it's bullish. If it's below, it's bearish. But what if it's testing it, it breaks past it, and then you're like, okay, it's bearish, so I short it, and then it fakes you out, goes up. So I like the value that the quantum reactor brings. Yeah. Nice. Wait, what's your leverage on ICP? Because wait, let me check the percentage on my ICP right now. I think I'm still up quite a bit. Yeah. Ah, I see. So you're up like 140%. Nice. Yeah. So hey, that's leverage I used. Nice. Hey, what's up? Good morning. I finally figured out how to stop truncating the names. So apparently there's like a prompt that allows you to disable it. But yeah, hey LexG, for a retrace on NAS. Yeah, hold on. Actually, we can. I don't particularly trade the Nasdaq, but we can. Yeah. Okay, wait. Oh, why am I looking? Oh. Oh yeah. Oh. It's a good open. What was it? So 22.30, at least in my time. Yeah. What kind of pump is that? So 1.5%. It's insane. All right. Actually, so we've got AVE. I kind of want to look at AVE right now. Yeah, it's giving me peak bottoms. So, from here on the 1 hour, although the 4 hour looks kind of problematic, if I'm being honest. 5 minutes. Oh, I think. So is it on Mexi? Wait, so what was that? Nope, not notifications. Nope. Log on BingX. Okay. AVE on BingX. Let's see what we have. It's not even here. Where's the peak bottom? It's not even here. What? What? Oh, it's on the 30. Why did it say 1 hour? But okay. No, this is gonna die for a quick sec. So I would put an alert here. Previous day low. I might actually give a signal on AVE because I do like AVE quite a lot. Let's look at Bitcoin again. Yep. Well, if we took a short here, that would have been. I should have seen that coming. Rough. But yeah. I bet you that when the hour closes, we'll probably go back into the channel. But if we don't and we get a nice retest again, then we can probably scalp short it down to the discount. How's Ethereum doing? Not good. Solana, not good. Aave, not good. Let's check out how Swee's doing. Actually, no, I was using BingX for some reason. So I did trade before on BingX, but the email I used got hacked into. So I didn't lose my money. Thankfully, before I had lost all my money on BingX, I had quickly transferred it to another exchange like last minute, but I could have lost a good chunk. So another thing, not necessarily trading advice, but like just security advice. If you're using your email for an exchange, also secure it. Don't be like me. Lesson learned. Big lesson learned. I was terrified for my life that day. But yeah. Do I like Bybit? I used to use Bybit, but uh what ended up happening with Bybit for some reason, I don't know if it's fixed now, but sometimes I don't know if it's me that was the problem, but like sometimes it inputs the wrong amount of margin. I don't know if I'm fat fingering it or what exactly is happening, but that's sort of what I experienced with Bybit. And after that, I said, enough's enough. I don't want to have to think about fat fingering my trades. Oh yeah, I was telling. Actually, I think one of my first lives with Mexi. I told everyone about the suspicious withdrawals on Mexi, because a friend of mine sort of looked at the on-chain data and said that a lot of people were sort of pulling out Bitcoin from Mexi, or there was a Bitcoin outflow on Mexi, and obviously when there's a Bitcoin outflow, um, it could be someone pulling out there, but it was like a lot of Bitcoin, so it could have been Mexi's reserves. So I'm a little bit wary of Mexi, but I still use it for peer to peer transactions. Uh, but I would advise against putting a huge chunk of your trading bag in Mexi. Yeah. BitMEX. Yeah, that was probably the smartest move, LexG. Yeah, Mexi is suspicious. Um, Obviously the zero fees are amazing, right? But it is suspicious. Uh, Very suspicious. Uh, I will say, right, for the exchanges that you're on, picking an exchange based on like uh, how much reserves they have and security is also a good might also be a good thing to go for, because yes, fees are annoying if they're high, but if they're sort of moderate, it's acceptable if you can factor that into your log, then that that would be great. Because I think actually with my trading calculator I factored in. Hold on, let me check how much I factored. I know I factored in some fees on my trading calculator that I have pinned to my channel, because I plan to use BTCC and Blowfin. So yeah, so I factored in uh 3.4, no, 0.0034. So I factored in 0.34% for fees. So I believe that was about like a week worth of fees. So the minimum take profit on my calculator does account for your fees essentially. Yeah. We tend not to have things like stop losses. I think those aren't great risk management tools. No, no, you should have a stop loss. Oh, they said it couldn't happen. My transaction history said, dude, that's terrible. Especially if you have the evidence and you show them, and then they say, no, impossible. Don't believe you. Like, terrible, absolutely terrible. But yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know why I didn't think about okay short BTC. That would have been such a good short as well because we were all just hovering on this price. But then again, from this dump, I mean, you could have entered 91,960, right? But if the 1 hour closes within the coffin, then there's really no trade. And I hate not being able to give you guys trades, especially on live scalping sessions. But then again, I also don't want you guys to lose money. So, yeah. I'm going with probabilities when we scalp live. 3,000. ETH already fell below 3,000 again. Solana wants to fall according to the 5 minutes back to 130 to the buy zone. So might be worth looking at Solana when it does get to 130. I'm gonna set an alert. So I'll set an alert at 134 and at 131. Yeah, exactly. If trade's not there, it's not there. Actually, what I've noticed, at least for crypto, um, Asia and London doesn't really move it that much. I mean, of course, Asia. I mean, they still move it. Of course, it's affected by the opens of Asia and London, but you get most of your volatility in U.S. Open. So typically, when it's Asia and London, I don't really expect anything too crazy. I mean, it elucidates or gives you an idea of what the U.S. might do, because uh, what I've noticed is that the U.S. seems to like to basically salvage whatever Asian London did, or like by salvage I mean do the opposite. At least that's what I've noticed, but at times you can never really be too sure. I mean, Asia Asia trades using the moons, right? If it's a full moon, it's gonna pump. If it's a new moon, it's gonna dump. I don't know, but it is what it is. Yeah. So ICP back to 4.95. BTC almost going oversold again. Then again, it might not be a bad thing if it falls back to 90,000. I do plan to DCA into my Bitcoin long if we get to 86, or like somewhere near 86,000, and then I'll remove my stop loss. Anything's possible, right? Because we have this move, and I was thinking this could have been like a double bottom W recovery, right? So initially when I saw this when I woke up, I was like, oh, you got bottom, higher low. But now we might just fall back here and see where we go. But I do like that we are above the fluid zero line on the MVP ribbon, and it does show that we are picking up, at least momentum is stronger now. It's showing a lot more strength. Your direction is also showing a lot of strength. So really right now it's just a matter of just getting past some of our resistances. And I mean, we touched 92 and we broke to the downside. But we have a fighting chance. Alright. Okay. Still have 18 minutes on the show. Do you guys want me to look at anything by any chance? Like any last? Or, it's not a last call, but any last calls maybe. Last calls. Hmm. Solana. Solana seems to be very popular today. But yeah, okay, so 5 minutes Solana, measured move down to 130, smart target to 134. Do I think it could happen? Yeah, I do. Because you could be pushing to the downside here on the 1 hour, and this is just like a continuation, right? And I put a line here. Actually, I forget why I put a line. Oh no, because that was where my measured move was before. But I'm really curious to see how we react back here to this level, because if we go back to, or if we go on to a higher time frame, right? You got your reversal triangle there, but at this point in time, you had sort of uh, equal money outflow. But unlike this point in time, you now have bullish volume. So getting a bottom here might be interesting. If we break to the downside, we could possibly explore even lower levels, because if I pull up the 1 week, you'll see that if it loads, we are in a descending channel according to market dynamics, and we're basically playing around the money flow point of control. So if we break below 131, then we have to be prepared for the idea of seeing maybe an $87 Solana. In which case, if this happens, I'm gigalonging Solana at $87. But yeah, we're basically looking at 130 to 139, seeing where it goes. Now, of course, you are in a falling wedge here on the 4 hour, which again, typically bullish, right? It's more likely to break to the top side. And so I'm hoping that we do sort of bounce off 131 again, or 130-ish, and really just break above 139 cleanly. Yeah, because right now, not a lot of strong. I mean, we are stronger compared to a couple days ago. So that is good, but obviously we want a little bit more strength if we're in a long. Okay, bullish div on Solana 30 minutes, but we're still falling. We did get a bullish cross technically, but we are falling. So I assume Bitcoin's also falling again. Yep, falling. So I am. How much am I down right now? So from my entry on Bitcoin multiplied by 50, I'm down about 60% now, by the looks of it. Again, not scared, because my liquidation on Bitcoin is $20,000. So ETH crossing 2982. It's at the buy zone, discount zone. Still not oversold. Your 1 hour is showing that you can go lower, so expect to go lower. But we are rejecting off of it. So, some buy zones, some supports are giving us some strength, but we gotta be prepared, right? So again, at least just to leave you guys with something, if Bitcoin falls to 86, I plan to DCA into my Bitcoin long, because at that point we should get a bigger relief, since again, my overall thesis is we're headed to the top side with liquidity injections. Of course, we could face a lot more pain, so also be prepared for that possibility. But counter cyclical approaches is always what the banks do and what institutions do, and I do my best to basically replicate what they're doing and following liquidity. So actually, let's check what's up with our fundamentals right now. So when we started this, our fear and greed index was at 16. So let's see what it's at. It's still at 16. Okay, nice, I guess. We're going back to the 1 day, and you can see that, yeah, the longs are getting destroyed. This was a lot higher compared to when we started. Hey, Aya Perry, welcome to the show. We still got 13 minutes, so yeah, we were a lot higher. I recall we were closer to like 2.2 billion, so we are getting liquidated. So I do see us push all the way back to maybe 89, right, where the cluster sort of ends, and you can see that the shorts are building up again. Let's go to the 7-day, and yeah, 7-day says we could go back down all the way to 87, really kill the cluster here, and then once that's done, everyone's gonna go short again, and then we'll have more incentive to go back to the top side. 30-day, again, it's a 1-to-5 ratio. 30-day says 87, about 86, 566 maybe. We can push all the way down. Hyperliquid, decentralized, you do have some nodes here at 84, and then but you have a very large node around 101. So again, heavily imbalanced to the top side. And I guess we can also pull out the heat map just to get an idea, right? Let me extend this. Let's look at the liquidations here on the 24-hour. There are big pockets of liquidity at around 90,000. Let's pull up maybe 1 week. But you can see we've got barely any liquidations left, right? Again, cumulatively, you can't even see the cumulative liquidation. But cumulatively, we've got what? 734 if we go all the way down to 85, whereas if we go back all the way to just 107, we'd be able to liquidate 3.88 billion, and you've got higher liquidity here at around 97. So again, we could go for these nodes here at around 88, 87, and then push to the upside, right? And then if we lower our threshold even more, let's make it 63, it's clear that most of the liquidity is lying around 98,000, and then there's also some here at 105. So overall, all the liquidity is to the top side. This is inducing max pain on everyone who's going long. It's inducing max pain on contrarian traders like me. It's inducing max pain on retail for spot bags, getting us to quit. And I do see it. Like, if I was a bank, I would do this too, because I'd be able to buy the dip, and the more discounted prices are, the better. But I also have to keep my clients happy. I got to keep my balance sheet happy, so I can't let this basically close in such a way that it would affect those things. So let me just do it as much as I can, get enough people to quit, get their liquidity, exit, get them to exit, and then now I just let go. Free market goes back up. So if we get this candle close in 10 minutes, that will basically engulf our entire push back to the upside, starting at like 10 hours ago, which would suck. That would suck, but it is what it is. And I would like to see if we go oversold here on the 1 hour. So let's actually look at ICP. ICP is actually holding up pretty well. I mean, if you compare this drop on the 5 minutes compared to this drop, right? I think it's holding pretty well. So, go ICP, I guess. Imagine if it just starts dropping and it starts failing me. That would suck. But okay, let's look at, if you like, what does the violet color on the quantum reactor mean? I think it's just like testing. Yeah. Have you ever used Webull Thailand or know anything about it? No, I've never tried or used Webull Thailand, and I don't know much about it. What's the point where you can long Ethereum? So I have an order for Ethereum at around 2870. It's in my signals channel. So if I pull up the 1 week on Ethereum, probably the ugliest 1 week chart, right? If I pull up the 1 week, there is an FVG here, and we're just about starting to approach it. It starts 2929, but I placed my order at around 2870 and my stop loss below that. So I would say that a good place to long would be 2870, because your CPO plus would start approaching the lower extremity. It might go oversold, and that would be a great place to take a long, and your bearish volume is decreasing at that point. If you like order flow trading, check out Bookmap instead of TradingView. It has some insane liquidity. Yeah, no. I was contemplating whether or not I should get Bookmap because, it's you spot like it's much more visual, much more dynamic than CoinGlass. But then, when I was sort of comparing the results from CoinGlass and Bookmap, I noticed that technically speaking, they're about the same, and so I would rather have CoinGlass, which is basically free, and I can tell you guys all about it. You can use CoinGlass, rather than Bookmap. But I do value or see the value that Bookmap brings over CoinGlass. So yeah, it's just paid. So buy zone on 5 minutes just got deleted. Go figure. That sucks. Actually, I will put a horizontal line just to mark the start of the FVG and the bottom of the FVG, just so I have an idea. Because we did base our descending channel. I believe, was it on the 4-hour? Yeah. Here in the 4-hour, and your discount zone at the very bottom or in the start of your FVGs at 2929. So, because this is still curving down, I see us pushing to 2870, but that might be interesting. So yeah, you can see ascending channels break to the downside, descending channels usually break to the upside. So it's just a matter of waiting on where you might go from here. But descending channels, these are bullish in nature, so I'm really just waiting for a decisive push, and you are getting some pushback now. Bitcoin testing that order block on the 1 hour. Let's look at ICP pumping, sort of, it's trying. Solana pushing to the downside, even if it got a bullish div, money outflow. It looks treacherous. But yeah, as we have 6 minutes left on the live, it's really difficult to scalp right now, just because, I mean, we got the fake out to the upside earlier, right? Got the fake out here, and then now we basically dump, and it's an engulfing dump. It's a big poo poo. But yeah. Anyways, how are your portfolios, guys? Still winning? Have to show off. Look at Nas. Okay. All right, I'll look at Nas. I'll indulge you. Nasdaq. Let's go to all. Oh. Well. That doesn't look too fun. Going down. Man. It is what it is. Yeah, I think most of my spot bags are in Bitcoin, so I did sell some. I remember when part of my portfolio had like Ondo and Sui, and I'm so glad I sold Sui at like 4.7, and then I traded it. I long traded it up to 5, and then I was like, I'm kind of scared, so I sold a little bit, and then fucking just decimated to like 2. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. And even Ondo, I remember I had it for like 1 point. My average price on Ondo was like 1, and then I sold, I think most of it, like 90% of it, at like 1.8, and I was shooting myself in the foot because it reached $2, right? And I was like, oh, maybe I should have waited a little, and now it's at like 0.6, and I was like, oh, thank goodness. I trusted my analysis at the time. Nasdaq is my new friend. Great to know you're making new friends, stock scalping samurai. Top 10 crypto to buy back. Yeah, that's literally, it's just arbitrage. You buy low, sell high. I don't try to hit home runs every time. Happy to just get on base. Absolutely. Right. Okay. ICP's now following the dump. Ethereum also dumping. Solana dumping. Now, I would assume this is going up. Yeah. So what I've also noticed, at least for me, and you guys should probably check your forex as well, is that whenever crypto is dumping, forex seems to be pumping. Now I don't know the correlate. It's obviously correlation because logically you would assume that because forex is pumping, right? That means that people are selling some assets and that's sort of inflating it. And then when forex is dumping, crypto is pumping because now you're able to buy more assets given that your money's stronger. But that's correlation. That's not necessarily causation, and I'd have to look into that more. But I mean, it's a nice hypothesis to have. Yeah. Yeah. Push back. Nope. No push. Just dump. No push. I mean, ICP's trying. I appreciate that about ICP. Yeah, I've actually expanded. So before, when I was starting out, I would have a daily goal, but now I sort of consolidated into a weekly goal so that I'm not too pressured to basically find a trade, right? And when I'm able to exceed my weekly goals, then I'm happy, because I think like when I was shorting Trump, I made 775%. Then I had a short on another exchange, and that ended up closing for like 669%. Funny number, I know, but it was nice. And then yeah, I hit my weekly goal for that. Yeah, I mean, right now the safest crypto to buy back into would be Bitcoin. I agree. But yeah, so it is 12. Unfortunately, like yesterday, it's a bit more of a boring show, but it is what it is when there's no trade. But yeah, thank you guys for sticking with me. I do hope that I was able to answer your questions and maybe help you guys analyze some coins. Um, Hopefully next week will be kinder to us. We're able to get more scalps because my target is at least one scalp per live, and it sucks that I can't give you guys scalps. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for your kind words, guys. Yeah. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week, same time, 9 a.m. EST, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Yeah, once again, I'm Langstrom, and I hope you guys have a pleasant morning, pleasant evening, wherever you're at, and always use a stop loss. Bye.